Well, it was an interesting transition for sure. Prior to joining the SecuSmart team, I worked mainly with people in my local office. So it was kind of more of my first introduction to having a lot of my meetings online and virtual. But now, I mean, completely used to it. And I find it kind of funny because I know most of my coworkers by more their voice than their face from all the phone calls we do. And actually, one, like I had already been working with the international team for a little bit, but one nice change that was a good thing that came out of COVID was actually that because everyone was online, we did quite a few team building and kind of activities online, which was really nice because I got to know some of my coworkers that like I may have less interactions with normally. Like I got to know them on a more personal level as well. Obviously, there is the occasional time difference annoyance, but I feel like I'm pretty lucky because our team mainly spans from Germany to the west coast of Canada, so I kind of get to be snuggled here in the middle, so I get to still have enough time with both teams, I find, which is great. So overall, I've really enjoyed getting to work with everyone in Europe, and also it's just kind of a new environment that I didn't get to working with just mainly people in Canada before. The first thing that kind of comes to mind, but I have to say it hasn't really been an issue, but when you're kind of working internationally, like I didn't know if like language was going to be an issue. Personally, I am just a native English speaker, that's it. But I'm blown away by the team in Europe, how we have people that speak multiple languages yet are able to convey all of the technical details in English, in German. So it's one of those things that I would have thought would have been harder, but honestly, everyone is so amazing that it hasn't really been much of a barrier at all. A kind of benefit that I would say is that coming from such different backgrounds and where we are is like we really get different viewpoints, which I think can really help to push our work forward, getting that different experience and different inputs from everyone on the team. We are also, even though we're international, I'd say we're still pretty small in my mind. So there are lots of opportunities. I mean, I'm user experience designer, but I feel like I get to kind of help out in other areas as needed, as opportunities arrive. I can be very involved with testing of our products when available. I get to assist our documentation team. I get to help out with marketing assets when that's around. And I also get to work at sort of project planning a little bit and kind of creating the JIRAs that our teams will actually work on in implementation. So it's a pretty good opportunity there to really like test out all the areas and really grow my skill set, which is great. So currently, some features are kind of being wrapped up for our SecuSuite and SecuVoice project. So implementation on them is pretty much done. So from my side, it is really just any testing of the UX and confirmation that things are working as expected. For future projects that I'm looking at, I'm currently exploring in our admin portal sort of some feature additions. So we kind of have like a vague description of kind of what we're looking to add in there as a customer ask. So I've been doing some research into how other sort of admin portals might be tackling that, just kind of general areas for improvement and kind of looking at if there's like different ways we could look at implementing it. And then once I get kind of either more definition or it's time to kind of review with product and development, then there'll be more feedback, which then I can kind of take in, or kind of we can collaborate on kind of what the final expectation around the portal design will be. But that's still future work. So I'm just kind of exploring at this time. For keeping user experience at the forefront, it kind of depends on what feature we're working on, because some of the smaller features we pull in, it's really about competitive research and finding what patterns users are currently used to so that we can kind of meet expectations and it feels natural when they're trying to use that feature. Sometimes there's kind of less of a precedent set, and we can be a little bit more creative with how we want to actually implement it, or maybe we have some specific AC from customers that we need to meet, or to meet certifications. So in that case, then it's kind of more doing research, collecting if there are any references I can find, sort of creating a user journey of what do we want them to do? What steps are we going to take them through? What will they need to do at each step? Where do we need to make options available for them? And then kind of pulling that forward into my mock-ups and seeing how that actually looks in our UI. Now, we'll always run into kind of specific AC we need to meet, acceptance criteria we need to meet for either the customers or for certifications, which will then have trade-offs we need to think about for timelines or how we're going to actually development. So in the end, it's kind of trying to take the ideal user experience we have decided we'd like to meet, and then taking all of those trade-offs and different requirements and kind of merging them together. So how can we still get as close to our ideal while also wanting to get stuff out to the customer? So ideally we get something into their hands that they can then also provide us feedback on, and then we can iterate as we go. So it's really just trying to, throughout the entire process, just, start with a base, what are we trying to achieve, and then going back to that as we iterate and improve on our products.